Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something pretty crucial in how people work globally, how technology is stepping up to train potentially millions for, well, the new way of working. Our mission is an in-depth look at extended reality, or XR, that mix of virtual and augmented reality. Specifically, how it's being used to teach real practical job skills for the digital and gig economies, which are just growing so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, our source material today is all about EON Reality's XR Library Premium, and we're focusing on their income generation and marketplace skills section. It basically promises to get people ready for the market much faster than, say, traditional routes, which can take years or cost a lot through mistakes.
Right. And the need for this, it's huge. That's what makes this really interesting. When you talk about the shift to self-employment, digital businesses, I mean, the numbers are staggering. We're definitely past a tipping point. Think about platforms like Upwork or Fiverr. They're already doing billions in business, connecting people to jobs.
And it's not just those classic freelance jobs, is it? The source brings up the creator economy. People making videos, digital content, newsletters. That's projected to be massive, like $500 billion by 2027.
Exactly. A $500 billion opportunity. But the problem often isn't a lack of talent. It's more about the practical how-to. So many people have the drive, maybe the core skill, but they don't know the nuts and bolts of closing a deal on a high-end platform like TopTal. Or maybe how to really optimize a Shopify store visually so people actually buy things. That kind of practical gap. It keeps people stuck.
Okay, so the library's mission seems pretty clear then. Give people actual learning paths to build both the hard skills, the technical stuff, and the soft skills, like negotiation, so they can actually earn money. Let's look at how they structure it. It seems like it's broken down into 5 main areas, these pillars, and it looks like they're trying to build someone who can run their own show, not just do a side gig.
It's very much an ecosystem view. You need the skill, you need to sell the skill, and then you need to manage the money you make. It all connects.
Makes sense. Let's start with those hard skills. Pillar 1. Freelancing and gig economy success. This sounds fundamental, getting good at using the platforms.
Yeah, and it's deeper than just making a profile. The material gets into the details. Negotiating contracts, building a portfolio that really works, managing clients effectively. But the really interesting bit, I think, is how they use XR to kind of de-risk those first crucial interactions.
Okay, that's the big question, right? Why XR? Why not just a really good video course on negotiation?
Well, negotiation isn't static, is it? It's give and take. So in the XR environment, learners actually step into these virtual meetings with avatar clients. And these aren't simple bots, they're AI-driven. They're programmed to give you realistic pushback, query your price, use different communication styles. You have to think on your feet, adjust your approach. And crucially, you get immediate feedback on things like, how confident you sounded, your pacing, did you actually address what the client needed? A video tells you what to do. This lets you practice doing it again and again in a safe space.
I see. So you speed up learning because you can fail without consequence until you get it right, until you close that virtual deal. Okay, let's move to pillar 2. Digital content creation and monetization. This plugs right into that booming creator market you mentioned.
Right, and this is where simulation really comes into its own. It focuses on the big platforms, YouTube, TikTok, podcasting, Instagram, and the immersive part. It puts you in something like a production studio. You're not just reading about camera angles. You're actually moving a virtual camera, practicing talking to camera, and then this is key reviewing simulated analytics based on what you just did.
So you could see how changing your script intro might affect virtual viewer retention before you actually film anything.
Precisely. See the impact immediately. And it covers the money side, too. Ad revenue, getting sponsorships, product placement. It explains not just how it looks, but the business behind it, contracts, and all that.
Okay, pillar 3 moves towards selling actual stuff. E-commerce and online business development. Setting up shop on Shopify or Amazon.
The aim here is practical scaling. You're not just designing a nice-looking page. The simulations mimic the actual complex dashboards you use to run a real online store. So you're practicing things like optimizing ad campaigns, managing inventory, planning logistics, all in this simulated space.
That ad campaign simulation sounds vital. That's where beginners can really lose money fast in the real world.
Oh, absolutely. The system lets you run virtual A/B tests, see how ad spend translates into virtual sales in real time. It teaches practical sourcing, customer service strategies, all without risking your own capital or buying inventory up front. You can even simulate things like supply chain problems to practice how you'd respond. That's a critical skill.
Okay, now it feels like we shift gears a bit. We've covered making things and selling things. Pillar 4 is about consulting and professional services. This feels more like packaging expertise, maybe higher value.
Definitely higher value. This is where the potential income jumps significantly. The source material mentions that packaging your expertise right can lead to retainers like $5,000 to $15,000. Moving from charging hourly to landing a big retainer like that, it takes real confidence in knowing how to sell your value.
And reading about it doesn't magically give you that confidence.
It really doesn't. So the immersive part here uses case studies. You step into a simulated boardroom, you're pitching your strategy to these virtual executives. The AI is watching not just what you say, but how you handle tough questions, maybe skepticism. It forces you to really hone your value proposition until it works, even under pressure. You learn how to justify that fee.
That practice sounds invaluable. You just can't get that kind of pressure or feedback from watching a webinar. All right, the last one, Pillar 5, seems to build the foundation. Investment and wealth building strategies.
Yeah, including this really shows that holistic vision we talked about. Success isn't just earning, it's managing what you earn, financial literacy. So this pillar covers the basics. Personal finance, managing wealth, introduction to investing.
That's interesting because finance can feel so abstract, maybe intimidating for people. How does XR help make it, concrete?
Well, the simulations here are very interactive, almost gamified. Learners might walk through setting up a budget, interact with simplified stock market simulations, practice setting financial goals. They can actually see visualizations of how their savings decisions might play out long term, like compounding interest. It makes abstract ideas visual and interactive.
Okay, so we've got the 5 pillars and the why the skills gap, but let's spend a moment on the how. For someone maybe already taking online courses, why choose this? What does this XR technology actually do that regular e-learning can't?
That really is the core of it. It's the difference between, say, reading the manual and actually driving the car. The source material explains that EON basically turns static lessons into these dynamic, interactive business experiences.
And you mentioned sort of 3 key ways it does that.
That's right. First, the virtual marketplaces. You literally step inside a simulation of the place you'll be working. You're not just looking at a picture of the Upwork dashboard, you're clicking around in a simulated version. Or you might be in a virtual video editing suite. It helps build that muscle memory for the actual tools and processes.
Yeah, I can see how that blending of space and function might make it easier to learn complex software. Less mental switching back and forth.
Exactly. Second is the avatar-led coaching we touched on earlier. These AI avatars aren't just text prompts. They mimic human interaction nuances, the client who's unsure, the investor asking sharp questions. It provides practice in things like reading nonverbal cues, adjusting your tone, things that are almost impossible to teach just through text.
Right. And the third element, scenario-based simulations. Sounds like where the real practice happens.
It really is. You're constantly put in situations where you have to react to challenges. Imagine suddenly getting a virtual client demanding a huge discount.
What?
Or a simulated bad review pops up on your e-commerce store. You have to decide what to do, and then you immediately see the simulated results, the impact on your virtual bottom line or reputation.
So looking at the before versus after the source talks about, it seems pretty dramatic. Before, you're relying on maybe generic tutorials, YouTube videos. Then you try for real and learn by making mistakes, which can be expensive, lost clients, wasted ad money.
And that trial and error, it often leads people to just give up. It's discouraging. After using this kind of system, the idea is you've already practiced extensively. You've worked inside simulations that mimic the real platforms, whether it's negotiating on Fiverr or handling logistics on Shopify. This targeted practice is designed to cut down those real-world errors significantly and hopefully get you to profitability faster. You build expertise through rehearsal, not just painful experience.
And critically, especially for reaching millions globally, the source notes it's accessible. Mobile, VR headsets, or just a regular desktop computer. So the tech itself isn't another barrier. Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, the real innovation here seems to be this blend. Taking valuable income-focused skills, digital marketing, consulting, e-commerce, and pairing them with realistic, immersive practice. It's moving beyond just absorbing information to actively doing it in a simulated way so people feel genuinely ready to earn.
It's like democratizing experience, really. This XR Library Premium aims to give people a way to gain the kind of business acumen that used to take years of mentorship or maybe an expensive degree. It turns ambition into practical economic results. And that leads to a really interesting thought for you, the listener. We've seen how XR can simulate complex, high-stakes situations, pitching executives, managing online stores, even basic investing. So where else could this kind of technology make a huge difference right now? Think about skills gaps globally where we currently rely mostly on theory. What critical skill may be one that needs quick feedback or involves tricky interactions? What skill would you want to practice this week with an AI avatar?
Definitely something to think about as you consider your own next steps. Thanks for diving in with us today. We'll catch you next time on The Deep Dive.